Hey everybody, what's going on? Welcome back. Today we're going to start working on a project that I've been meaning to take care of for quite some time. And that project is already like maybe half done. And you know what reminded me of this project? It was actually the deep sea area. I started working on this yesterday and I used an old piece of lumber that had like a notch cut out of it. And that was for the telepost in the basement. And around that telepost was this really cool skyscraper. So today in this video, I want to modify that skyscraper because it doesn't have a back. Yeah, it's supposed to be like around a post. So we need to make it work here in the city, and it's been like that since we set up the city. So for over a year, it's time to change that. I must have parted out the back panel at some point. I know it was laying around the studio for a long time, but we've got a double tall ground floor and there's like a make-believe elevator in there, and it has a front entrance, and within is a little security desk and also a fireplace, and then the other floors are just like balconies, right? Sort of wrap around the building. It's got the nougat accent color and there's some doors built into each floor, giving balcony access, and then there's a detailed roof. So it's not a bad little skyscraper. The thing is it's hollow. So first things first, got to perform some major surgery here, starting with the ground floor. Going to transfer that onto a base plate. So we have a foundation. A base plate is 32 by 32 studs. This structure is 22 by 20 studs. So when I position it on the center of a base plate, we have quite a bit of breathing room. I'm leaving 6 studs on the front of it, 4 studs on the back, and then 6 studs on either side. Now this structure is weird. It has windows on all 4 sides, and the footprint of the interior is not very big. So there's not much that we can do in there, for example, like bathrooms and stuff like that, because there's not much room for interior walls. But that wasn't the point of this. It was built around a telepost in the basement, so it didn't need an interior. But I like this design. I like the solid nougat masonry line going down either side of it. I like the balcony concept. I like the trans light blue window glass in the dark bluish gray frames. And then I like the light gray. I feel like the colors really work well together with like the blue, the nougat, the grays, and also the transparent glass that frames the balcony as well. So I'm not sure if I want to completely revise the structure because I like it. And it does a great job of just adding some height to the city. I think it looks good from afar. And I guess we could get around to putting some sort of interior in there. Let me know what you think we should put in the interior of this building. Should it just be like many different living spaces, or should it be something fun and quirky? Something I might do just for fun is actually put an elevator shaft running through the center of it. No, it wouldn't be a real elevator, but we could put a false elevator running through the center of all the floors. It could just have fake doors and we could frame a little square and it could go from the bottom all the way to the top. That might be fun. And that would also offer an interior wall that we could potentially build off if we wanted to make separate rooms within. So after I got the ground floor transferred onto the base plate, it was time to start constructing the other floors. So I created a 22 by 20 surface using light gray plate, a big 16 by 16, 4 by plate, 2 by plate, and also 6 by plate, just whatever we had. And then I just transferred everything over from the structure, that being all the tile work, the brick, the glass for the balcony, the window glass, the 2 by 2 pillars in the corners, and also the nougat line of masonry brick. Now I did experiment with reinforcing the floors. Right now it's just a single ply, which means it's not reinforced at all. The only thing holding the floors together, that being the different plates to create the 22 by 20, because of course they don't make a plate that's 22 by 20. So the only thing that's holding that together is all of the elements. You know, the pillars, the window glass, the tile, etc. So I am putting some more tiles in the inside just to hold it all together. I did try and double ply it, but I didn't think it looked as good. So I actually constructed a couple floors, double ply, so plates reinforcing on the bottom around the entire perimeter and some with the interior as well, where we have like the seams between the plates. But once I made it double ply, I just didn't think it looked as good. So I undid the work, and maybe what I can do is eventually tile off all of the balconies and tile off all of the interior as well, and make sure that those tiles go over top of the seams so it's fully interlocked from the top. And I don't plan on taking this thing apart very often, so it might not be necessary to make it double ply. So you can see that building getting taller and taller and taller, and one of the last things that I need to work on is the roof. I really just make this a hunk of a roof. It does have a little bit of a design and also a skylight, and then I need to clean up the giant mess I made throughout the entire day. Yeah, this took a long time. It was the majority of the day, and you can see Mrs. Bricksie was actually working right beside me there. So here we have our light gray base plate. Oh, I should probably swap out these doors to transparent blue. Didn't notice that. There's going to be a few things that I gotta fix, such as the window positioning. On the bottom, I have it so it's glass out. Glass out. But then at the top here, I have it so it's glass in. And I think glass in is better. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 floors have glass in, and the bottom floors have glass out. So I've got to go through and fix all that. Now, this was the first floor that I did right here, and you'll notice that I made a mistake. I put a 16 by 16 right here, but then I soon realized that, uh-oh, that's going to add a break in our nougat masonry like pillar. And I don't like that. So I revised moving forward, but I got to redo this floor pretty much from scratch because the plate layout in the inside doesn't make sense. Because this is actually 4 by plate like this here. So it's a 16 by 16, then 4 by, and a 2 by 3. And all I have for nougat, like I have barely any plate, is 1 by 2s. So I put a 1 by 2 there, 2 1 by 2s on top, branching onto that 2 by 3. And then there's 3 masonry bricks, another layer of plate, and then another layer of plate on top. And I didn't attach it because I want to make this tiles, and I don't have any 1 by 2 tiles. I am going to go through my 1 by 1 tiles to see if we can scrape together enough, just because there's not a whole lot of reinforcement here. It really relies on the tiles that I put in the interior, because once again, I didn't want to make it double ply. So when I put a 1 by 2 plate on these floors and I go to take it apart, I noticed that it has too much clutch power. So if I just tile that off, it's going to work better. I've got to try and fix that as well. And here's the roof. It's sort of chunky, but it's pretty cool. I think it's well done. It looks a little bit different, that's for sure. You got a nice decoration here. So it's got 1 by 2 slopes and 2 by 3 inverted slopes. And then one of the corner slopes right there. It's all tiled off. And then there's a row of curved slopes in behind that. And I put the skylight in, and that actually fits perfectly. And there it is. The plate layout. There's the skylight, fully tiled off. The skylight is held in place by headlight bricks. And there's 2 plates on the bottom of the windows. And then on the top, there is 2 plates and a tile, and that actually makes up a brick dimension, or like, sorry, a stud dimension, right? And then I put some modified bricks with the forward-facing studs, or snot bricks, around the exterior, so I was able to add this dark gray line, and I thought that broke it up a little bit. And I only did the decoration on 2 sides because that's like overhanging on the balcony, so I think that sort of made sense. It's a chunky roof. Like, this is 1 plate, 1 brick, and a tile tall, but I think the curved slopes and the cheese slope just add a nice texture to it, and the fact that there's a skylight is sort of cool. I just noticed one more error that I've got to go through and fix too. It's funny when there's a big chaotic mess, sometimes you miss this stuff. I noticed that some of the window blinds are facing out rather than in, and I wanted them facing in because this is just a part shortage. I want them to not have that, but as you can see, I ran out of the trans blue window glass. I only have the ones that are actually from a police station with the stickers on them. So yeah, I've got to go through and make some of those modifications, get some tiles put in there, flip the window glass, and then I've got to work on the grounds as well because it's all just studs right now. So we've got to tile the front and hopefully add some planters and stuff on the sides and also the back. But yeah, a lot better. It's a skyscraper now that can be taken apart like a modular building, so it's pretty cool. Well, I guess when all else fails, have a dig through the smalls bin and try and find some nougat tiles. Had a little bit of luck. Gonna continue digging until I find all the tiles I need. Oh, that's a plate. It is nice having the smalls bin because you can find parts that you need for the most part. I mean, it would be nice to obviously have this sorted, but who wants to sort smalls? Definitely not me. One day. Oh, did you see it? There it is. That's what we're looking for. Sweet. Yeah, with those tiles, it's going to make it a lot better for when it comes to taking the building apart. I went through and made all those substitutions, and I flipped all the windows the other way. I want to get rid of those white lines, but it's all good. I don't feel like peeling those stickers off. I definitely could do that. You'll also notice that I put some mini builds within the floors just to represent the fact that we could indeed put an interior within this building, but you can see there's not a whole lot of space. If you put a kitchen table in there, for example, it fills up the floor. Mind you, that is a massive Lego kitchen table, but you pop a couch in there or a corner couch. There's not a whole lot of space, especially if you want to put an elevator within the build. What we could do is say, okay, there's a living space and it's spread amongst 3 different floors or something like that. But then you put a washroom in there with a bathtub and it takes up a huge amount of space. And if we frame an elevator in the center, a false elevator even if it's just 2 by 6, it's going to take up a lot of space as well. So I don't know what to do with the interior, but I don't know if I want to increase the size of this building. I like its size. I like its footprint. I like the fact that when it's a skyscraper that has windows on all 4 sides, it's got some breathing room on the base plate so that it's not, crammed up against another building. I think it's more realistic. Hey, look at that. We got some air hockey in there. And yeah, I made all the modifications, and included in that is actually fixing up that floor that had the gray plate. So I had to go through and swap it all out, just pretty much build it from scratch. And this right here gives us an example of what I could do with the tiling on the balcony. So it's fully tiled off, and you might recognize some of these minifigures. They are sig figs from the community, ones that have been around for a long time, and they've been chilling on these balconies for a long time. So we will keep this as some sort of sig fig tower, which is pretty awesome, right? I do want to get around to tiling off all the balconies. Do you think it's worth the $1 investment? Probably. And I want to add some sort of interior. I'm glad that I decided to throw these little mini builds. You might recognize them. But I'm glad that I decided to throw them in the floors. They're from the mansion. And I also started working on the exterior of the build as well. Came up with a pattern here using some shield tiles. It'll look good when it's added to the street because there's going to be more sidewalk in front of it, which will frame it. But we've got shield tiles and the dark gray tiles around that. And then around the outside of the building, I put some reddish brown wedge plates in and matched the wedge plates in green. And we've got some dirt and some grass and some flowers on all 3 sides of the building. So I think that looks pretty cool. And yeah, this thing's pretty tall. It's pretty neat seeing all 10 floors plus the ground floor, so 11 floors total spread out just like that there, along with the roof, which I'm really happy with the outcome of as well. Well, here it is assembled, everybody. I like it. It's got some height, not a huge footprint. I feel like it's got some good color combinations. The green and brown on the bottom, I feel like is a good contrast as well with the nougat. The ground floor is like larger because of course it doesn't have the balcony and it has the different windows as well. And of course it's taller than the other floors. I was contemplating adding another brick of height to the floors, but I like how it's all window glass at this point. And I didn't have enough elements to add like say a blue layer of like a light blue layer of brick around the top. But I think it contrasts well. The roof looks killer with the skylight. I'm actually really happy with the outcome of that. Nice smooth finish too. And then we've got that consistent nougat line going all the way down. Glad I didn't do the line breaks with the light gray. It's just consistent there. And then we got the nice flowers on the bottom too. And I feel like the building has some depth because those windows are flipped inward and they're inset one stud in a lot of cases. So I feel like you've got some more texture with the build that way as well. Really happy with this structure. Hey, maybe we need to get around to placing more Lego skyscrapers in the Lego city. And why don't we do that now with this one? So it's funny because I placed it back in its original position, but I now realize that the balconies are looking into the Daily Bugle, which really doesn't make any sense. Maybe I should have like reversed the build so the balconies were on the other side. But I think I have a solution, and it involves a little bit of a shuffle here on Pop Culture Street. What do you think of that? Hey, shift the Daily Bugle down, put that skyscraper where the Daily Bugle was, and there's a 16 by 32 base plate open beside the Avengers Tower. And we plan on putting a short building there. So that actually works out beautifully because now we have all our tall buildings grouped together. That is so cool right here. The sitcom tower, the Ghostbusters HQ, the Avengers Tower, the new tower that we just built, and the Daily Bugle, all the tall buildings grouped together. Hey, I think that's the solution because now these balconies here, they've got a beautiful view of this massive battle. Yeah, I would not be on my balcony, but you know what? Each to their own. There you go. I love Lego. It's so funny what you could do in a Lego city. That's awesome. But yeah, just like that, another project down. And, you know, we've been crushing projects. We started that deep sea area. We're working on the mountains. That's why there's no base plates on the raised area over there. We finished up this, but we need to work on the ground still, that being the expansion. And I feel like we're just crushing out projects. This one we've been meaning to do for so long. It actually has a back now. It looked decent in the city, but now it just looks a lot better. And also the little miniature furniture builds on the balcony, along with the minifigures, and the furniture builds within the build can be seen from here, so it almost looks like it has a detailed interior just by adding a few little mini builds within. I think tiling off the balconies might be a waste of parts, but it might be worth it as well. There we go, everybody. New skyscraper added to the city. Well, no, existing skyscraper added to the city. I love it. I think it's perfect. Thank you so much for coming on by. Please remember to like, subscribe, and stay tuned. Have a great day. Bye for now.